I can get money to fund what? Some people don't even know what types of funding that's out there. The issue is you've been to the bank, you've applied, and you keep getting denied, and now you don't know where to go. So that's exactly what this channel is for because there are so many things that you can do when you access the right type of capital. Most banks are actually denying small businesses right now. Nothing against the banks. That's just the way that the landscape is. It is tightening up. So if you're not a huge, already established company, it's going to be a lot more challenging for you. Not to say it's not going to happen. There's a lot of great resources out there, like your local community banks. And then, of course, there's alternative lenders, non-depository lenders, and online lenders. You just need to know the right way to go. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. So if you find this information helpful, then you know what to do. Go ahead and do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button because that allows me to make more free courses and trainings just like this one. And then, of course, drop your comments, send your comments my way because that's how we help you. That's how we engage. That's how you fix these errors in your paperwork so that the next time when you go to apply, you know exactly the right type of funding you're applying for and what you need to do to actually increase your approvals and walk out of there with the funding and the money that you need to get your business growing or to get out of whatever situation that has come your way. Today, we're diving into a very specific type of funding because we talk about business loans, personal loans, asset-based lending, accounts receivables, equipment financing, all types of loans. But today, we're going to be talking about 0% interest funding. You might have seen this all over the place, but it's super, super important that you know exactly what this is. I think people get really excited when they hear this, and then they come and they apply, and then they are really frustrated because they don't hit the requirements, right? So it's not really explained. And that's exactly what we want to talk about today because everybody tells you where to get funding. They don't exactly tell you the steps that you need to take before you apply, and that's what affects most of your approvals. Guys, I'm looking at applications every single week, been in this space since 2019, and it's really the same core issues that are causing a lot of denials for many businesses. It's typically a structural foundation or applying with the wrong lender. And so what happens is typically things will start to stack up if maybe you're stacking up different MCAs or if you don't have the right credit profile and you keep applying for 0% interest financing and then you start stacking up inquiries. So that's what we're going to go through this together. I want you to grab your pen. I want you to grab your paper. I want you to get your notes because this information is so important in terms of working capital. When a lender is looking at if they're going to work with you, they want to know, is this funding going to help fuel your growth or is this funding going to help get you out of a situation that's going to help you get back on track? Maybe you're even taking a step back because you're expanding into some new product, right? So you had to do some heavy investment into the new product build out. Those types of things can be explained. So the first thing I want to do is talk about who qualifies. Well, if you're, it used to be that if you had a 650, 660, you could qualify for this type of funding. But again, the banks have tightened up. Things are, that's just the landscape that we're in now. Not to say that there's not a lot of opportunity because there's a lot of really cool things with the SBA funding that had just came out. Check my socials for that or DM me if you want that information. But with the banks tightening up, it's good to know what other sources of capital are available to you. So if you have it used to be if you had a 650, 660, 670 credit score, you could get by. But nowadays, they want to see a 700. That's it. Okay, so immediately, if you don't have a 700 credit score, then connect with your credit professionals, start pulling your credit reports, and start working on your credit profile and what you need to do to fix that. Okay, we don't do credit on this channel, so go and connect with the right person. Now, what if you have a 680, right? Now, 680 could get by. It depends on the lender. It depends on you. Each person is different. I know people hate hearing that, right? We want to generalize, but it's really just that. It's specific to the individual. So I have seen 680 get through, but I see it less and less nowadays. Okay. So if you have a 700, you're good. If you have a 680, just make sure you're hitting all those other pillars as far as like you have, good payment history, you have aged accounts and things like that. Good utilization, it's not overutilized. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here because I'm going to share with you different ways that you can use 0% interest financing if you do qualify for this type of funding. Let's go through this list together because I want to open your eyes on how versatile this type of funding really actually is. This isn't just startup money. This is actually true working capital that is really intentionally meant to help fuel your growth. Do not get this type of funding and bounce, okay? Don't take your family on a vacation and then you're left stuck paying this for 10 years or so with some high interest fees. You do not want to do that, okay? Don't go get your hair done. Don't do any of that, right? Go and use this as a way to fuel and expand your company. So, number one way that you can use this type of funding is what we just said, startup costs, okay? You can use this as far as your LLC formation, legal fees, branding, your website. Okay, all of these things have fees, right? I know a lot of us don't think about that, but your website, GoDaddy charges a fee. Branding, right? If you are going to get headshots, that's a cost, okay? Legal fees, if you are entering into a partnership, you want to make sure you have those documents, those contracts in order. Your LLC formation, when you're forming that, some states have filing fees. So these are costs that you can either do what I did, which is actually I had kept my primary job. So I took money out of my primary job, saved it, and accumulated it. Now that takes longer. If you don't want to do that and you have a 700 credit score, you can get the funding and get this up and running and get it going. Now, number two, equipment and technology. I'm talking about computers, cameras, printers, tools, machinery, painting materials, whatever. If you're doing staging, if you're in the real estate space, these things add up and you can use 0% interest financing if you have a team, if you're bringing in computers, a computer system, if you're starting like an HVAC company, a plumbing company, a landscape company, you need tools to get started. You can use this type of funding to help you with that as well. Third thing you can use this for is inventory. If you're in e-commerce, if you're in the beverage space, you can use it to stock your shelves. But if you're in the vending space, you can use this to stock your inventory. You can use it to fulfill your first bulk order. When you get bulk orders, you can get discounts. And then you sell that for a profit. When you use this type of funding, then you don't have to drain your personal savings. Okay, that's the one thing you want to stay away from. You don't have to drain your savings. People will pull from their savings without having a plan, and then they end up in a situation. Number four, you can use it for marketing. You can use it for advertising. So that means like Meta ads, Google ads, content creation, PR. Now, all right, let's talk about this one because Meta ads, Facebook ads, it's up to you if you want to use Facebook ads. Okay. They convert really well for some people, not as well for a lot of other people. Google ads, Google PPC ads, those are really strong when you have a good Google campaign. Google is the number one used search engine out there. So if you have a really good targeted Google campaign, that works really well. And Google can give you a credit. So if you're just setting up your Google business profile, then I believe they offer like a $500 credit, but you're going to spend some money. They're not just giving you $500. I know it sounds like they're giving you $500, but they're not. They want you to be invested as well. With the content creation, this could be maybe you're investing in a coaching program. I've actually done this. I've spent $5,000 on a coaching program. Y'all, worth it. I'm telling you. But I've also spent two, three, four, $5,000 on some really shitty, scammy ones. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So make sure you do your research on who you're connecting with because there are really great mentorship groups out there, and mentorship speeds up the process. If you can get with a group, if you can get with a team, if you can get with a community, with a leader that's already done what you're trying to do with proven performance that has already been there, that has duplicated it for multiple other people, shit, go for it. Get into that community and make the investment. And if you can't make it at that moment, put it on your vision board, put it in your planner, and set a goal to build it up because content creation, especially nowadays, is just part of the process. You want to be building content, but those programs do cost quite a bit, and you want to make sure you're finding the right one. You don't want to fall into a scammy one. Drop a comment if that's happened to you because I'm telling you that's happened to me. But it's sort of like dating, right? You have a goal in mind, you're still going to get to your goal. When we dated, I'm sure you dated a couple bad apples. You don't let that stop you from finding your soulmate. The goal is still the same. So even though you may have gotten in with one bad program or you've had one bad experience, use it as a learning experience. to not make those same mistakes and to grow from it. Number 5 is hiring. You might have to pay contractors. You might be bringing in some part-time staff, maybe even your first employee. You might even be bringing on somebody to do a project from, like, let's say Fiverr. Maybe they're coming from Upwork. Some people are bringing on developers to help them with their websites, although you could just use GoDaddy. Number 6, vehicles, work trucks. So you can use it for vans, delivery. Some will actually allow you to get vehicle financing as you actually advance through the business credit programs. There's companies like Ally that will do vehicle financing. So, and even Bank of America will do vehicle financing. So, but there are requirements to all of those. But I think Bank of America actually has a new vehicle financing program. So I'll keep you posted on that. Number 7, software subscription, things like your CRM, your automation tools, design tools. So what do we mean by this? CRM, Go High Level. Okay, I use Go High Level. I really like Go High Level. They're not a free platform. You're gonna make a monthly payment. Typically, it's 97 to $100 a month. And then I believe you have a setup fee. So when you're setting up, you can either onboard and pay extra to get that extra onboarding experience, which I recommend, especially if you're a busy professional, just to make sure it gets set up the right way. Or you could do it DIY, right? But you are going to pay a monthly subscription for your CRM. Automation tools. There are some free automation tools like ManyChat. You can connect to your social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, or whatnot. And then, of course, your design tools. So anything like Canva, you're going to be paying a subscription for. Now, you can get a free Canva subscription, and it has some pretty good tools and flexibility there. But of course, the paid subscription is better because you don't have to dig through the ones that have watermarks and all of that. You just have a lot more flexibility and they're just going to keep asking you to upgrade when you're in there anyway. It's only like 30 bucks. So the Canva subscription, if that's worth it to you, if you're doing a lot of design, infographics, presentations, stories, whatever it is, Canva. Number 8 is anything like office related, maybe like an office deposit. So if you have a virtual office or you have a physical location, so however much you're paying for that monthly, or if you're doing like a co-working membership. Maybe you're in one of those type of offices, but this is the amount of money that you're paying for your office every month. Number 9, any professional development. Now, this is like coaches, any courses, any certifications, anything that's actually going to help move your business forward. Okay, so some professionals, they have to constantly get recertified. So you need to have those licenses. You need to be taking these courses. You need to make sure that you're staying on top of it. And those things have a cost. It'd be nice if everything was free. But I mean, what really is free? Number 10 is emergencies. What's your backup plan for when things get heavy? I told you about the lady who had the vet clinic. Everybody got COVID, had to shut down. She didn't have anything as a backup, so they started stacking MCAs until they got backed up into a corner. Make sure that you have some type of emergency for when things back up. And I can tell you, honestly, this happened to me because my payment systems got shut down when I had clients paying monthly subscriptions. This was a couple years ago. It was with Stripe, never again, but it was with Stripe, and they just decided that they didn't want to work with my business profile anymore, so they just shut it down, and I couldn't get it back up and running, and it was just a total nightmare. Luckily, during that time, I was in a founder group for women. And it was led by a bunch of exceptional female founders who started some pretty amazing companies, multi-million dollar companies. My coach started an $11 million company herself. One of my coaches really delved into my limiting beliefs because I thought that the world was ending at that moment. But I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. I spent a couple days crying on the phone trying to figure this thing out. She sat down with me and she said, you need to reassess what's going on in your environment. You need to acknowledge you aren't even prepared for this moment. And then you need to stop living in these limiting beliefs, get up and find a solution and move on. And guess what? The next day, I found a solution and had my payments up and running. But it also helps to have a good coaching program, to be part of a good mentorship group to help guide you, because I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have her there at that moment. She truly helped me out a lot. Her name is Amy. Number 11, you can also use this for debt consolidation. This is huge right now, guys. debt consolidation, paying off any high interest personal loans or any old business debt. You can utilize this type of funding and you can put that balance at 0% while you grow. So you could take a loan that was 9, 10, 11% and you can drop it down to 0%, which is huge. Number 12, real estate. Many investors will use a credit line hybrid for down payment costs. They'll use it for rehab costs, the down payment when they're working on a fix and flips. And then, of course, number 13, you can use this to cash out. Some programs will actually allow balance transfers or cash advances. We don't really do typically too much of this, but some of our partners do. So you have essentially two ways that you can go about doing this. Go online and you can spend days, weeks, months trying to figure this out on your own, trying to just apply with whatever random lender that you find. That's what I call dialing for dollars, right? You can pretty much dial for dollars and try to figure out what you're going to do. And again, throw spaghetti at the wall. Or you can connect with a reputable lender platform that has experience in this industry, that knows exactly which lenders are out there, the best ones that you can connect with that are going to help for your situation. Because when I said earlier that this isn't just for startup costs, I meant it. Whether you're launching something new, whether you're scaling something that's already working, or even cleaning up some expensive debt that's really just kind of weighing you down, there's very likely a case on here on this list that applies to exactly where you're at right now. And I want to know what you would use this type of funding for first. What's the plan? Comment below and tell me what you would do first if you had access to this type of funding today. I want to see what you're building and I will reply. I read all of the comments. And that's it for today, guys. Remember to click the links in the description below. If you feel like you're ready to get started, well, then just go ahead and apply on the buildabusinessmethod.com site. Go ahead and schedule to speak to one of our funding advisors as well on that link. And if you want some information on our business credit programs, you can head on over there as well. Now, if you are not so ready to get started and you're still kind of confused, then make sure you get your free checklist. It has all the resources, even tips, places to go where you can get started. You're not in this alone. Now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Do me a huge favor here because that allows me to make more free courses and trainings just like this one. I'll see you next time.